Hey folks, Sylvia's here. I'm on Leaf. I'm in Port Hope. I already resupplied myself, so we're right off good to go. Let me clear my server log, because I'm actually somewhat interested in how much money I make in this. Since I left off last time in Port Hope, we're still in Port Hope, and we're just going to do another run on Dwarks. Hopefully I get lucky on my, on that crap. So, real quick, let me open up a private chat channel. We have 144 shiver arrows. I probably spelled shiver wrong, but whatever. We have 354. I guess I need to turn myself off of ignore. Alright, 354 monks. If I spelled that right, I definitely did not, actually. 2 hunting spears, 1 throwing star, 15 knives, 3 spears. We've got, let me throw those out. And fireballs, I thought I brought fireball runes. Yep, we got 4 fireball runes. You know, I said to myself, the odds of me getting my phone to go off at 12:48 in the morning is so low that I probably don't need to really bother with moving my phone. And then, of course, that immediately happened. Just seconds into the video, my phone boops. What is it? Oh, it's Donald Trump. What's he got today? President Trump announced his full cabinet roster. That's fantastic. Did he just do that? Or did that news just take a really long time to get me? I did not intend to fall into this hole right now. This was an accident, but hey. 4 GFB, and that should be everything that we care about. These spears kind of suck. So anyway, I'm like a week late on my Leaf videos right now. I kind of made a video saying that my videos would be late, so I did give you guys some advance notice about this, but I figure I should explain, because it is an interesting story. So I get a call, well, technically I got a text message from, so like, I'm not really sure what the term is, but she used to be my stepsister before my mom and stepfather divorced. So, like, she was a stepsister, and now she's just a stranger that I was formerly related to via marriage. Which sounds a little cold, to be honest, but whatever. So she'd, like, text me, and she's like, hey, could you help me out with some things? So, like, wow. That throwing started not last long. So, like, I talked to her on the phone at this point. You know, I give her a call, and we discuss things. Get a general idea of the situation going on. So, basically what happened was, I guess today is February the 8th. She discovered this problem. So she's, like, engaged to this guy. It's her boyfriend, her fiancé at this point, I guess. So I've met him a couple of times, and he's a strange entity, because he's he's a pretty cool dude. Like, I enjoy talking to him and stuff like that. Like, he'd be a really good friend, I guess I should say. But I don't really think he's good, like, family material, which is weird me saying that specifically, but like, your friends, there's, like, a limit to what you can kind of ask your friends of. I mean, obviously, there's a limit to what you can ask your family of, too, also. But I believe the family limit is always going to be higher. You can ask your family of more than you could a friend, in most cases. So, like, you know, knowing that this guy isn't really going to be able to do a lot for you, he makes for a good friend, because you know that in advance, and you can expect him to just be like, oh, I'm just not doing things. Whereas as a family member, him being like, I'm just not going to do things, is kind of not necessarily acceptable. So So he's like a fun dude to like be around and like talk to, and he's like knowledgeable and stuff like that. But he's also kind of a jerk. Like, I couldn't see myself spending like that extended periods of time with him. Obviously, I can't see myself ever marrying a big burly dude, because that was what he was, a big burly dude. But if I were a woman who was interested in big burly dudes, I still couldn't see myself ever like spending that amount of time with this dude. Again, like I'm saying, I don't want him to be like he's rude or anything like that. He's just not really good husband material. Like when I was over there before, they like argued loudly and intently in front of me for extended periods of time, which I thought was weird. Like I understand emotions happen and stuff like that, but like he was just being like a straight on jerk while I was there. I mean, like, yeah, I understand that I wasn't there for the, like, I guess the beginning of the argument and whatnot, but, like, he was clearly acting inappropriately while I was there. So, like, I don't know, the guy's just a little strange like that. So she's, like, engaged to this dude, which surprised me. She already has a daughter, but not with this guy, with her ex-husband. By the way, I never say anything flattering about my family. Even when I'm not trying to be like, oh man, my family sucks. There's just nothing flattering about my family. But yeah, so alright. So she's like engaged with this dude. So it was, I guess she and him got into this argument. Oh jeez, I fell into a hole. Into this argument, and I fell right back into the hole and can't find the terror bird now. There it is. Oh, it's running from me. Did I came up here so that I could get more food? And did not get a lot. Anyway. So they get into an argument, and she basically like boots him out of the house, I guess, at this point. Which to me is a little weird because he's the one paying the rent on the house, and I'm not sure the logic behind booting him out of the house necessarily. Yeah, I don't know how you could boot somebody out of the house they're paying for. Seems a little strange to me. But yeah, she boots him out of the house. And she's like highly stressed, and she starts getting like lightheaded and dizzy. So this was, I think she's told me it was like January 10th. So she ends up like passing out. She goes to the hospital, and it turns out she's got like high blood pressure and high blood sugar or something, which is causing this like trifecta of awesome medical problems she's just randomly experiencing now. While they're doing like all these tests and whatnot to see why she passed out, they also discover that she's pregnant. So now she's pregnant, and she's on this like medication for the high blood pressure and whatnot to make sure she doesn't have like a stroke and just die. And meanwhile, she like booted the dude out of the house at that time. So she like calls him, and she's like, "Hey, like I know we just had this huge argument, and I booted you out of the house, but like I'm in the hospital." And he was like, "Yeah, I can't come to help you because I'm making a model tank." Like, not like an actual tank, but like a plastic model of a tank. So she was like, yeah, he never showed up in the hospital to visit me at all or like do anything. So she's like, I guess not marrying this dude anymore. But anyway, she's like, yeah, I could like use some like help around the house because all the medication I'm taking like makes me tired all the time. And I'm like, alright, first of all, like I'd gladly help you in this situation and stuff like that, but I am definitely not the person you want to ask for help around the house. That's so far out of my expertise that it's not even worth mentioning. But yeah, I'll go up. So that was actually last Thursday. What's today now? Okay, so I haven't gone to sleep yet, so in Sylvia's time, it's still technically Tuesday. So that was last. I spoke to her, I guess, last Tuesday. So it's been a week. I went up to her house, though, on Thursday. was also supposed to go shopping with my grandmother the Wednesday before, which is why I was like, so the videos will be delayed kind of situation. So I was like, alright, so I'm going to go up there, help her with this stuff. It's not going to be super fun, but I mean, it's what's going to happen. She wants to like pick me up super early, which drives me crazy because like everybody I interact with repeatedly knows when I'm asleep. So when somebody's like, "Can I pick you up at 9 o'clock?" I'm like, "Oh God, does it have to be 9 o'clock? Couldn't it be any other time? Did it really have to be 9 o'clock?" Is it ExeterCon? Good. It was ExeterCon. I realized I had full mana there for a while. I'm like, dude. So, like, I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So, you know, I agreed to do that on Tuesday. And then I was supposed to go shopping with my grandmother. So I figured, because this is easier for me, I figured if she's picking me up at 9, there's no way I can be awake at 9. So instead, I'll just stay up really late and figure, like, you know, because she like picks her daughter up from school, right? And she picks her daughter up from school like around 3. So I figure she'll go pick her daughter up at 3, and then just like take me home at that point. So I'll be home at around like 4, and then I can just go to sleep at then. That's not that big of a deal. Likewise, like my grandmother wants to go to the store like earlier rather than later. So my plan was to on Wednesday I would stay up, go to the like shopping with my grandmother, and then I would come home and go to sleep. So my grandmother obviously was, because she doesn't understand how time works. On Wednesday, she's like, she takes longer to do things now that she's old, right? Which is perfectly reasonable. And she hasn't realized that fact yet. So she's still like, okay, so before I do this, I just need to do these 3 things that will take me 20 minutes tops. But she doesn't realize that it takes her like 8 times as long, so that 20 minutes comes into like 4 hours. And then it's just like this catastrophe, and then she gets all stressed because she's running late. And she's also really bad at like prioritizing things. You know, she'll be like, alright, like I have to get dressed to go to work, but I also have to do like the dishes and the laundry. So I'll take the clothes downstairs where the washing machine is, but I won't put them in the washing machine. I'll just put them by the washing machine. Then I'll walk back upstairs and get the like dishes going, and I'll do half of the dishes. Then I'll go downstairs and put the laundry in the washer. Then I'll come back upstairs and I'll like microwave a TV dinner for myself to eat. But then I'll go back downstairs and like turn the dishwasher on, or the washing machine on. Then I'll come back upstairs and do more of the dishes. Then I'll leave the dishes there on the table. And I'm like, dude, just do one of the things at once, especially when it takes you 5 minutes to walk from one spot to the other. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it always takes her longer. So she wanted to go at noon. So I'm like, alright, I can stay up until noon. No problem. So like noon comes around and she's still asleep. And then 1 o'clock comes around and she's like awake now, but she's not at all ready. So I was just like, alright, well I guess I'm just not doing anything today. So I fell asleep. Got woken up by the family. Because they're loud and obnoxious and have no consideration for other people. So I only, like, after staying up really... So this is what my plan was. I would go to bed at, like, 3 in the afternoon on Wednesday. And since I would have been staying up really late, because I don't normally go to bed at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I figured that after staying up really, really late, I would sleep for more than just 8 hours. So I'd sleep from, instead of 2:11, I'd sleep until maybe, like, 1 o'clock in the morning, which would make it easier for me to stay up till 5 the next day. So instead of doing that, I went to bed at like 2:30 in the afternoon and then woke up at like 6. p.m. So I slept for like 4 hours, which was like just absolutely fantastic. So then I go over to my sister's, and when I was like talking to her on the phone, I was like, "Oh, you still got that puppy dog, right?" And she's like, "No, I had to get rid of her because she was having these like weird medical problems, yada yada yada." I'm like, "Okay." I mean, that's unfortunate. I'm like, but she doesn't have a dog anymore, so that means I don't need to like take my allergy medicine or anything like that because, you know, that'll be fine. So then I get there and she's like, "So this is the first cat?" And I'm like, "Oh, you have cats?" Because I'm like way more allergic to cats than I am dogs. Like a dog in the house will just kind of make me sneeze, and if I touch the dog and then touch my eyes will get all red and puffy and itch, which is super annoying, by the way. But like that's it. A cat though will like trigger my asthma right off the bat, and then I'll like struggle to breathe. So I'm like, "Oh, you've got 2 cats. That's even better. Oh, I'm so happy I didn't bring any kind of medication." Oh god. So then I'm like there, and she didn't really have me do that much, which was like fine because I actually suck at housework, but I did a little bit. I was moderately useful. Go me. So yeah, it was fine. And then, so like she goes and picks up her daughter, but she's like, "Can you watch her for a minute? Because like I have to go." She had to go like talk to her church friends. So I'm like, okay. Because like they knew she was having like medical problems. I wanted to check in with her, and because she had like started the process of planning the wedding. I was about to say funeral, which was ironic because it's not what I meant to say. But yeah, so she had like, you know, started the process of like prepping for the wedding. And she kind of needed to like tell them that wasn't happening. And I guess they're like a real conservative church. So she also had to break the fact to them that she's now pregnant and also not getting married, which I guess is a huge problem for them. So she like leaves me there. She comes back at like 4:30, and I'm like kind of super tired at this point because after I woke up at 6 on Wednesday night, I stayed up and then fell asleep at 4 in the morning, and then woke up at 8 to go to her house. So in like 3 days, I got a grand total of 8 hours of sleep, which was awesome. Yeah, I'm doing good like that. Doing really good. And then she like comes home and she's like, "Oh, I'm not feeling good," and then she falls asleep. So then I was just trapped at her house, which was awesome. This is the downside to not being able to drive. So I got trapped at her house, which was not cool. Where is the... is it there? Ah, it's over that way. So she ended up waking up at like 3 in the morning, but was in no condition to drive at that point either, and didn't want to leave her like daughter unattended. So I slept for 2 hours on her couch while like struggling to breathe with her cats, and ended up being at her house for like 28 hours straight. And then I came home and just kind of struggled with the like after effects of that allergy disaster. So then I spent like all of Friday just not being able to breathe through my nose and like sneezing and coughing and having my eyes itch all day, which was awesome. Just like fantastic all around. Yeah, it was bad enough that I ended up not going to clean the office building that I cleaned with my grandmother on Friday. Because I didn't get home until Friday at like 10, for starters. I got home at Friday at 10 and had only slept 2 hours the night before. The night before that, I'd only slept 4, and the night before that, I'd also only slept 4. And then the night before that, I hadn't slept because I had stayed up all night. So I was a little tired, and then with my allergies going nuts, it just sucked. But yeah, so that is why I was otherwise engaged and unable to do my videos for that week. It really sucked, too. Like, I feel bad for her and everything like that, but this is why I don't help people with things. This is why I'm just like... I'm not really a useful helper in the first place. Like, there's not a lot I can do. Because, like, I barely did anything. I guess I did, in fact, make dinner. and I guess I also like entertained her daughter, which is I think the thing she was most important about, because she I guess she always takes like really good care of her daughter, and they always like do bonding family things, which is crazy to me because I've never experienced that. So she was all like saddened that she was like dropping the ball, I guess, and taking care of her daughter. So she was like legitimately happy, I guess, that I was there to take care of that. So I guess I was like moderately helpful there, but God, it's like every time people ask me to help them with things, it's always way more than what they say. It's like, oh, it's just this simple thing. And like 12 hours later, I'm like, this isn't simple at all. And I don't know if you like intentionally lied to me when you were telling me it's simple, or if you're just ragingly incompetent and didn't realize it. Obviously, in this case, I mean, it wasn't like it was actually a complex thing, and it was just kind of unfortunate that she got sick and fell asleep, but that's why I hate helping people. It always sucks way more than I'm planning on when I agree to do it. On the topic of my hunt here, I forgot that I was supposed to go up and try to get more animals each time I found a spot where I could go up at. Because I needed additional food supplies. And I'm kind of just remembering that now. So how am I still not getting any Bast skirts? It sucks. But yeah, I mean, I feel bad for her because, like, obviously her situation sucks massively here. She also had recently, like, right before this whole thing had happened, she had actually quit her job because, like, she was really unhappy with the place she was working at. It was one of those situations where they hired her to do, like, task A, B, and C, and then they kind of just were like systematically like, also I need you to do D and E and F and G and H, and also we're not kind of paying you extra. Also, we're not even like really giving you extra time to do it, kind of things. Like I've sort of been there too. Oops, I fell right back down the hole. So I mean, I don't blame her for quitting, but she had like discussed it with her boyfriend, fiance, and he was like, yeah, it's cool. Oh my god, I keep falling down that hole. He's like, yeah, it's cool, like, quit your job, I get paid enough that we don't need to worry about the money situation, just, like, maintain the house a little bit, and that's fine. So that was kind of their plan, and then this whole thing with her getting, like, sick happening, and, oh, Jesus, I fell into another hole. This is kind of annoying. Also, like, the sheer lack of food I've gotten from this is kind of amazing, too. Alright, now, the question is, where can I go and find additional foodstuffs? Oh, God. Alright, I quit. We're just not working in this area anymore. I'm going elsewhere. So yeah, she recently lost her job. She booted the guy out of the house who's paying for the house. She has major medical problems, and now she's also pregnant, which is a pretty catastrophic situation to find yourself in, if I do say so myself. So I'm not really sure what she's doing. It's glad I'm never going to have to worry about those problems. That's just never going to be a thing I have to worry about. Still, though, the last, like, 2 times I've been at her house now, it's been a disaster, though. The time before this was the time, when she asked me to, like, babysit her daughter, and then I got, I got locked out of the house in, like, early December for several hours. It's like, yeah, this is awesome. It's like, what was it, like 10 at night to 1:30 in the morning, I was locked out of her house with her annoying dog. Her annoying hyperactive dog. On the topic of, like, annoying hyperactive dogs, Those kind of dogs like require a decent amount of maintenance, and it drives me crazy when people that have no capacity to actually take care of that type of dog gets that type of dog. I mean, like, I don't actually... Okay, I guess I should say it drives me crazy when people get that type of dog and then it ends up annoying and affecting my life. I don't actually care if you're like, oh, I got the wrong kind of dog and this sucks for me. I care when you're like, oh, I got the wrong kind of dog and it sucks for you now. So, like, having to deal with that, like, hyperactive dog that just wouldn't sit still was a pain. And that's how, like, my aunt's dog is, too. It's, like, always just yipping and stupid and annoying and fails at the basic tests of being a dog, which is, like, doing anything dog-like. It does nothing dog-like. It's cute, sort of. I mean, it does look kind of like a rat. But, I mean, it's cute. It's just useless. Like, you basically get a dog for, like, what, one of 3 reasons? Hunting, protection, or companionship. That's, like, those are the 3 main reasons why you should have a dog. This animal is not a hunting dog. That's for sure. It's got no protection value because it barks at anything that it sees. Like, it just always barks. And that just means you ignore it all the time while it's barking. So, you know, you're sitting there, like, trying to do something. It's just standing there. Ruff, 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 yip, 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 ruff, 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 yip, yip, yip. And you're like, dude, shut up, dog. Shut up. Hole is right there. So, like, it serves no purpose for protection, and, I mean, like, that's detection. It's not even useful. And if somebody actually broke into the house, all it would do is run towards them and then get, like, this dog wouldn't be able to stop a toddler from breaking into my house. It's, like, stupid and tiny, and it's, like, the size... It's smaller than my shoe. I mean, it's got legs, so it's a little bit taller than my shoe, obviously, but it's basically my shoe. Alright, we've been here for about 30 minutes now and got nothing, so I'm going to head back at this point. Although I am going to just kind of continue north, and then we'll leave that way. Hope I get lucky in this last little bit. But yeah, it's just like, it's a useless animal. And then the final thing, and the thing I personally find the most important, is like companionship from the animal. Like, I've had dogs in the past. We had, when I was young, well, first we had cats. But then when I was in, like, 3rd or 4th grade, we got our first dog, Francis, who was a Lhasa Apso. Lhasa Apso? I don't really know. He was a tad miserable, but he was also, like, you know, he'd sit with you and, you know, his head would be on your lap and you could give him a belly rub. Then we got Lady, who was a Cocker Spaniel, and she was just a wonderful, happy, lovable dog. Wonderful dog. Just like, all around, just a joy Lady was. Switch to the Voodoo Master. There we go. Yeah, Lady was just absolutely wonderful as an animal. Then, you know, we moved. My mom got remarried at that point. And then we got Samantha, who was a Black Lab Weimaraner mix. Then they got Bella, which was a Catalua leopard dog. Then they got Max, who's a German Shepherd. And all these dogs fulfill the companionship thing. Francis was probably the one that least fulfilled companionship, mostly because he was miserable all the time. And would, like, growl at you a lot. But even then, he still fulfilled the companionship thing, because sometimes he'd, like, you know, sit down on the couch with you and let you pet him. But all these dogs, you know, you could be reading a book or watching TV, and you could be like, Max, hop up. And he'd jump up on the couch next to you, and he'd just kind of sit there next to you, and you could, like, idly rub his head while, like, watching TV. You could play with them, like, you know, fetch or whatever if you wanted to. But they could also just, like, sit and be with you and just, you know, like, let you be like, this is a dog I'm petting. It's wonderful. And then my aunt's dog is just this, like, annoying yip-yip thing, where if you put your hand anywhere near it, it just runs around trying to, like, chew on your hand, and it will never stop. Like, if I'm sitting on the couch and it's next to me, and I just put my hand down and, like, prop it up on something and just let it go for 30 minutes, the dog will just keep running around. Eventually, the dog will get bored and be like, oh, I'm not doing this anymore. So it'll ignore your hand. But then if you try to, like, actually move forward and pet the dog, it will again just flip out and start running around trying to chew on your hand. Like, the dog is just useless. Just a useless animal. And that's how my sister's dog was. I think she had, like, a beagle mix or something. It just was all, like, it would just never sit with you. It was always, like, hyperactive and was like, I gotta run around. I'm like, dude, I just want you to, like, sit on my lap so I can kind of, like, idly rub behind your ears and, like, scratch you while I'm talking to somebody else. Because, like, dog, you're taking all of my attention right now, and let me tell you something. You're nowhere near as interesting as the video games and the stories and the YouTube videos on my phone. Or the news articles on my phone. You are nowhere near as interesting as my phone. And if you're going to require all of my attention, like my phone, you better be as interesting as my phone. See, a dog's like an accessory. Like, I'm watching TV and the TV is moderately enjoyable. Put a dog on my lap now, and the TV is way more enjoyable. See, that's how that works. Alright, folks, I'm not going to bother with the loot pick because I really don't care, and we didn't really use a lot of my supplies in the first place. And I basically looted nothing but a small amount of gold. I probably broke even, but even if I didn't, it doesn't matter because we were here for a specific reason. I am, however, going to end the video here, and I'm going to go straight on to making the next 2 that I'm owed, or now it's even 3, isn't it? Alright, but that is it for me for now. Like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Check me out on Patreon, Twitter, and Facebook. I'll see you guys later.